Waiting on the world. Do, do. Waiting on the world to join me. Pippidot! Good evening, Pippidot. I hope you had a terrific week. Glad you could be here with us tonight. Scott B. Hello, Will. Good to see you. Good to see you too, Scott. How am I this fine night? Pippidot? Not bad. Not bad at all. Me and my wife, we had a date night tonight. I just got home about a half hour ago from that. We went and took um, I wouldn't call it glass blowing, but it's kind of like an arts class, but it's all with glass. We had our choice of like making different mosaics with glass. So that was interesting. And then we went and had dinner, and then we came back here because I had the live stream tonight. Purple, good evening. Welcome, Blue Firefly 54. Hello, and welcome to the live stream. Rycart, good evening. Summit Shoes, good evening, and welcome. Yes, Cement Shoes. Everybody was looking for you last week. They're like, where's Cement Shoes? People were looking for you. Yeah, he's changed his thumbnail. It's not Richard Kaliski anymore, and then it changed to something else. So now this one looks like a bunch of people in a red circle. I don't know what that is reference of. Sure, he'll tell us. What's going on in the crime world? Blue Butterfly. Well, it all depends on what. Let's see. In the Lori Vallow Chad Daybell case, Judge Boyce is finally he can't ignore the open records request anymore. He has actually set it on the calendar to actually hear about Lori Ellis's request for opening the sealed meetings and transcripts. So that's a positive move. In that case. And Interpeas, yes. I don't think Interpeas was here last weekend either. I'm sure she's around. She probably has to get used to the new schedule. I never used to do live streams on Friday. It was always Saturdays and Sundays, but now it's Friday, Saturdays. Good evening, Janice, Janice. I did not see you. Scrolling up. I'm getting used to the new schedule. Well, good. Teddy Rose, welcome. Well, thank you. It's good to see you here too. Oh, but they're having back to the question about what's new in true crime cases. Not a lot has happened this past week, but sticking with the Lori Vallow and Chad Daybell, Lori Vallow's son, Colby Ryan. Now, Colby is the son of Joseph Ryan. That would be her second husband because Charles Vallow was third and Chad Daybell is number four. But Colby Ryan was arrested in Arizona Labor Day weekend. He was charged with domestic violence and sexual assault. By all means, if the recording and the transcript are correct, um, I would expect that sexual assault charge will be changed to rape, because she actually recorded an audio recording. In Arizona, it's a one-party consent state, so both parties don't have to consent to be audio recorded. But so it's definitely admissible in court. And in the actual audio recording, I've only read part of the transcript. A lot of it's redacted from what it was released. But you can clearly hear him say he's sorry, and he admits to actually, at least, the very least, sexually assaulting her after she said, "Stop and no, I don't want this." So at the very least, it's a sexual assault, sexual assault with an enhancement of battery. But that's Lori Vallow's only sole surviving child, because we know that with her brother Alex Cox, he most likely was the henchman that killed JJ and Kylie. So that's new. So there's been a lot of things going on in that case. There's some other things that I'm still working on, for that case. I'm hoping to have the video. Let's put it this way. I've already done the videos. I had one that I did the 29th, and another one the 30th of last month, and I'm still in the review process with YouTube. They're deciding if they're eligible to even be shown on the platform. So when they can age gate things and say, okay, if this is only eligible to be seen by people, adults only, and they age gate it. I filed an appeal on the 29th and on the 30th for both of those videos, and I've yet to hear back from YouTube on them. So I think it was like the 4th. I reached out to YouTube through the help center, and all they did was send me back a canned message saying that they're looking at them. But I have another video on Lori and Chad that's coming out. If it ever gets age gate, I can't. If I released it right now, none of my subscribers would even be notified that I've made the actual video. It's because when it's age gated, you can release it to the public, but it doesn't notify. There's a box you actually check: notify all subscribers and channel members, so it automatically sends out a notification. At least it's supposed to, but it wouldn't let anybody know if it's age gated. So, and I wouldn't be monetized for it, so wouldn't make anything from it. I mean, I don't make anything from most of this anyways. But that's a whole other thing. Sketty Nona, good evening. Some guys from the chat are saying that the charges were dropped against Colby Ryan. Well, you're looking well tonight. Did you have a good date night? I did, Pippadot, and thank you. Yeah. So we went to. You're probably not going to be able to see this. I'll show you what I made. So the thing was fall theme. So you probably can't see that because of the ring light. So that's a pane of glass, and then I blew the little tiny pieces of glass. They're inside of the entire thing, and then they put another piece of glass on top of it, and then they meld the entire thing together, so it's all melted as one piece. But that's what I've made. That's a tree with different colors of little chips of glass for leaves and for the ground. But it was fun, and then we went and had a really relaxing dinner. But we had to go early because I had the live stream at 6 o'clock, because this is normally when we would go on Fridays Well, we try to do it on Thursdays, but it didn't work out for scheduling reasons to do it on Thursdays this week. Well, East Idaho News just reported charges were dropped with prejudice for Colby Ryan. Well, good luck with that. I mean, it can drop the charges, but if they do drop them with prejudice, there's got to be more to the story than that. Either the entire thing was made up or something. I haven't looked into it since I made the video. I don't know, was it 2 days ago, 3 days ago? I'm a stained glass artisan. Isn't glass great? Yeah, we had a lot of fun. My wife was working on I guess you'd call it like a flower pot thing. They have these molds that they take the glass out and then they roll it and they blow it into the mold, and then I didn't get to I was over there. I was over on this side making it, but she had a lot of fun with it. I didn't snap any pictures of her. She took pictures of both of the things that we did, but I don't have it. Okay, to answer your question, what does it mean to that the charges were dropped with prejudice? I wanted to actually look it up so I can read you the actual definition. A dismissal of prejudice means that the ruling is the final judgment in the case. The dismissal prohibits the prosecutor from refiling the charges. In dismissal without prejudice, the prosecutor can refile the charges at any time within the statute of limitations. That is from legallawdefinitions.com. So there you go. Hi, Glowworm. Good evening. Welcome. Karen Gillette, good evening. Hope I didn't miss anybody else. But that is the actual definition of prejudice. It's either with or without prejudice. So, well, let's see what it says about Colby Ryan. Charges against Colby Ryan, Lori Devil's Sons, have been dropped without prejudice. So back to the actual legal definition. Without prejudice means that they can be refiled at any time within the statute of limitations. That does not mean that he's getting off scot-free. And again, by using the actual audio recording and the transcript from it, he admitted to, at the very least, on that audio recording, that he had sexually assaulted her with battery after she said no. So they could drop the charges right now and then refile, and maybe they're going to file rape charges in the state of Arizona. Maybe that's what they're going for. But if it says right there, this is according to EastIdahoNews.com. This was today at 3:31 p.m. by Nate Eaton of East Idaho News. Charges against Colby Ryan, Lori Daydell's son, have been dropped without prejudice. Second paragraph. It goes into the Maricopa County District Attorney's Office has decided to drop it without prejudice and may go ahead and refile as soon as this Friday. That is paragraph number 2 in the story by Nate Eaton. The sexual assault charges have been dropped, but the case remains open while investigation furthers at this time. That's the next one. The case is under review to refile charges by Jennifer Luer. I think that's how you pronounce it. L-I-E, Liwer. I'm terrible with last names. I really am. Tells the East Idaho News. So it does look like they're most likely going to refile charges against him. Either way, it's not a good place to be. You never want to be facing serious charges like that, bad charges. If convicted, you don't want to go to jail for that either, because well, people who commit crimes like that against women and children are not treated well behind bars at all. They are the pariahs of the entire system. I think it was brutal. Like to see the report. Yeah. Well, there's quite a few places online that you can find the actual release from the sheriff's department and maybe it was the DA that released the actual transcript part of it, but a lot of it has been redacted. But oh well, that's where that case is. I mean, and I posted a little disclaimer apology on my community tab this morning about that case and because about the video that I did. In the video that I made about Colby Ryan being arrested, I had said in there that everyone in the Cox family and Vallow family, and Daybell family are batshit nuts. And the only ones who were sane or have all been murdered. Because I mean, if you take the cousins, the nieces, the nephews, all of them as a whole, I mean, it's hard to find somebody who acts, in a reasonable, sane way. It really is hard. But I did not mean to include Kay Woodcock in there, JJ and Colby's grandmother, because even though she's not the biological grandmother, she is still a grandmother figure to Colby and to Ty Lee. She was a grandmother figure for all of them. So, bye, Purple. Yeah, I'm going to have to go. I can have a treat my eyes open. Oh, I haven't slept for here a couple of days. Just met my great grandson. We all have a great night and a great week. You stay safe out there, Purple. What's new with Sicko Joshi? Not much. I keep my eye on watching it. There's a lot of like rumblings, about different family members, in Josh's family, but nothing new about him out of the prison where he's at. So yeah, not really much there right now. Christina Burleson, good evening, welcome. We have a whole family that are insane, like the Texas Chainsaw Massacre family. Yeah, that's true. That's true, Reichardt. It's amazing. You know, you ever just stand back and look at your family and wonder in your family from the outside looking in, which one of your family members, if somebody was from the outside looking in on your family, which one would they consider the sane one? Or would they all consider you sane and one or two of those black sheep within the family, are the the total batshit nut ones? I mean, I'm not. I shouldn't really say stuff like that because I got some real wackos in my family. Mainly those who are on my mother's side of the family have done some really, really crazy things over the years. Sandy, good evening and welcome. It's my first live, Christina. Well, good. I'm glad you could be here with us. Glad you could be here. I got an uncle that speaking of crazy family members, who was a long haul truck driver for probably close to 40 years, cross country route, hauling from East Coast to West Coast here in the United States. And then he got tired of it and decided to become a turkey farmer. Didn't know anything about turkeys. Spent his entire life savings, on property and big giant coops, and sheds to raise turkeys. And he found out, somebody told him through the grapevine that free range turkeys make more money. You get a better price per pound for them. So he let them all out, to be free range turkeys, and enclosed, put better fencing up and everything else to keep them in, so they couldn't get away. What they forgot to tell him was that turkeys, domesticated turkeys who have spent, their entire lives indoors, when you let them outside, in a rainstorm, they'll hold their heads up and drown themselves. So he lost almost all the turkeys that way. So then he decided to become a pig farmer. Didn't know anything about pigs. Bought a bunch of pigs, and nobody told him that you have to move the mom around, otherwise they get sores, and they get sick, and then they stop feeding, and then the little piglets die. It's one disaster after another after another. But he eventually got a job working at an auto dealership, detailing cars. At least he wasn't out there destroying, his family with chasing another idea. Don't get me wrong. Nothing wrong with chasing your dreams, but you should probably know something about your dreams before you chase them. Oh yeah. Well, he wasn't exactly the sharpest tool in this shed. Blue Firefly. He just kept on trying these different things. I mean, he owed so much money in the end. He was lucky that he got out of it with some type of shirt on his back. Drama free, no nonsense channel. Will is a great investigative reporter, very detailed, and we have fun. Oh, thank you, Pippa Dot. I appreciate it. Yeah, yeah, and the worst part about it is, I mean, he could have asked, any one of the uncles from my other side of the family, and we still have our family farm in Wisconsin, and he could have asked any one of them about turkeys or pigs or horses or cows. He could have asked them about anything. How does the farm work? Could have went there and visited it and learned the ins and outs of the entire business. And I'll tell you right now, growing up, on a farm, there ain't nothing glorious about it. It's a job. It's what you do. To make ends meet. And at the end of the year, if you've got something left over, you're happy. So, but he didn't want to do that. He wanted to do it all by himself. So, and it didn't work out for him. I'm not even sure if each time, if he did it, if he really was putting 100% effort into it all. But he tried. You got to give him that much. But he did all kinds of crazy things. Gobble gobble. Hope you're having a good evening. I am. I am having a great evening. I've had a pretty great week, to tell you the truth. I hope you all have had a great week as well. Well, thank you, Christina. I appreciate it. Yeah, I wanna do the trivia nights again. It's just I have to wait for things to kind of work, through, and for scheduling reasons. Because I mean I had to go back to work. I used to do this full time, but now I don't have the ability to give it full time energy anymore on top of working full time. So Wisconsin has the best cheese. Sounds like a nightmare. Yeah, we are the dairy state. I remember when I was a little boy, um, the border between Minnesota and Wisconsin, the highway there. I can't remember what highway. I think it was. I want to say 24, but it might be 54. It's like a state highway, like 2 lanes in each direction. It's not an interstate, but I remember people like locked arms and across the highway and blocked the highway because they heard that margarine was going to be shipped in from Minnesota to Wisconsin. They took it that serious. You don't mess with the with butter. Butter is in everything. Beer and cheese. You working? How's it going? It's going okay, Karen. We probably will be wrapped up with this project. I want to say the 23rd of this month. Um, so it all depends. It could go longer, but that's what we're shooting for. It's the 23rd of this month, and then the project will end. Will I have a job after that? Don't know. I signed on to help the project. I'm working for the state of Washington for the archives department. We're archiving records for the pre-nuclear age here in the area that I live. There were several towns that used to exist here before the federal government bought a huge swath. I mean, we're talking hundreds of thousands of acres of land. But they bulldozed all those towns, and we've been archiving all the records for the state archives, and that was the project that I came on to help with. So, but the 23rd we're shooting for is going to be into the project, and after that, will there be more? Will we be done by then? I don't know. It may go to the following weekend. It might be another month after that. I don't know. I know that the last 5 days that I've gone to work, I didn't have much to do, but I still got to be there for 8 hours each day. I meant beer cheese. It's dip. My coworkers from Wisconsin brought to potluck. Yum. Sandy, and good evening, Sandy. Beer cheese. I've never heard of beer cheese. We make a dip that's it's got a lot of cheese in it, and it's got beer in it, but it's more like oh, what do they call it? It's not a Kanya Sade, but it's got cheese, jalapenos, and it's got beer in it, and then you basically you put in a crock pot cream cheese, regular cheese, and then you can use it as a dip. We have stuff like that back home, but I don't know what beer cheese per se is. Dip is so great. I'll have to ask my sister about it. I won't call her until Saturday or Sunday. I'll ask her if she knows of a good recipe for beer cheese. Back home, uh, Lindenberger beer is probably the most popular next to Michelob and Old Style. Those are the three beers that are the most common that in my family that people drink. I've never been able to stand Michelob. It's just not my flavor. But you eat a lot of cheese though. A lot of cheese curds. Um, everywhere you go, you can go to a convenience store and buy deep fried cheese curds everywhere, or vacuum packed packages of cheese curd. I'm surprised anybody's alive. The pure amount of fat that people eat there. Every time I go home, I feel like I gained 20 pounds just crossing the border. Cheesehead, yep, yep. Only the Green Bay Packers is the only NFL or professional sports franchise that is owned by the citizens of the state. There is no actual real one person who is the owner of the Green Bay Packers. Everybody who lives in the state pays for the team, wins with the team. In a nutshell, but those season ticket holders get to actually share into the wins loss. Damn, and they are drinkers too. Yeah, yes and no. Hope your teeth get better, Cement. I hate messing with anything dental. Good. I have a dental appointment coming up. I'd have to actually look to see when it is. I know I have an eye exam coming up. The 23rd. Same day that the project may end. I'm in a long, long line for getting my teeth fixed. Ooh. We had about 7 months of between my wife's employment, where it was kind of hit or miss. It's like, we both crossed our fingers and prayed that nothing serious would happen with the family, medical wise, because we were either in between one policy or my policy that I have that protects me and my son, because I privately pay for one for my business. It's not the best, but it's better than nothing. But it doesn't have exactly what you call the best in hospital stay or surgery needs coverage. Excuse me, it only covers about 40%. But now with my wife working, for the government, we've all switched over to her policy because the premiums to add all this to it, including my daughter, to my wife's policy from her work now is cheaper than when I was had my own individual policy. How's the knee been? Getting better, Pimpin' Dot. Getting better. Thank you for asking. Well, I'm a hillbilly from North Carolina. Christina, oh, are you down in the holler someplace in North Carolina? Insurance is important to have after 6K in deductible. Ooh, geez. My daughter-in-law is from Green Bay. She says it snows there a bunch. Green Bay. Green Bay was Milwaukee. The upper part, the closer you get to Lake Michigan, to the Great Lakes, going up that way in Wisconsin. Once you get up that way, you get what's called lake frost, and you get lake weather. So the weather pattern comes in like this from Canada, and then drops down Minnesota, Wisconsin this way, and then down through the rest of the United States that way. But if it's cold weather coming across Canada this way, and it drops down and it catches that moisture coming up off the Great Lakes, it adds to the snowfall, and freezing rain and ice. Like there's no tomorrow. And yes, but my family is down here. So let's just imagine this is the state of Wisconsin. This is up by the Great Lakes. This is the bottom of the state. My family is down here in this portion. We're just across the border from the Twin Cities, Minneapolis, St. Paul. So, about 45 miles across the border into Wisconsin is where I was, born and raised. Small little area called Prescott. But yeah, it definitely go up Milwaukee toward Green Bay, and then going up towards the Great Lake area. You definitely get a lot more snow. I mean, not that we don't get a lot of snow down in the Twin Cities area, and to Prescott. because we get the Lake of Freeze, that's coming off the Mississippi, and then we have the St. Croix River. That's why Prescott's there. It used to be a shipping port because there's two major rivers that have that come together right there. So yeah, we get definitely a lot of that. In the wintertime, it kind of comes down and then it brings it back up. I know what you're talking about in Wisconsin, Will. Yep. But I'd rather be there than here. But unfortunately, in life, or fortunately, it all depends upon how you look at it. I fell in love with a West Coast girl, and from the moment that I fell in love with her, I stayed right here. So these things happen in life. I had never had any intention of ever coming back here and spending even a single day of my life here again. And that is the absolute honest truth. I was on leave, and I was in the service at the time, and I came back here, and when I met her, and there was just something about that, I couldn't walk away. She is my addiction. North Carolina, South Carolina in the house, in the house. Kentucky here, my daughter-in-law talks funny and can't understand me when I talk slow. Apparently, I draw. Oh, you got to draw. It took. Sorry. Um, it took a lot of classes for me to be able to speak like this to each and every one of you. If you go back to the very first videos that I made when I started on YouTube, a lot of the time you would hear me say, little things like, yeah, 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 you betcha. I mean, it's bad enough that I pause and I say and sometimes, especially when I'm trying to rush myself, I'll say the word and a lot. But I actually took speech classes in order to do this because the first I don't know 25, 30 videos that I made, some of the most brutal comments I've ever read in my life were flung my way because people absolutely hated the way that I spoke. Why don't you speak English? Where are you from? I mean, they got downright nasty and racist, towards me and hateful. So I said, well, fine. I'll take some speech classes through my community center. I'll learn not to talk like I'm from the Midwest anymore. But I'm no joke. I go home on vacation to visit my sister, and immediately it's like I crossed a border, and all of a sudden it's like from head to toe, you can feel the vibration going up through your body, and within minutes, I'm right back where I was, speaking the same way. I'm not joking. My sister's like, how is it possible that you can come back here and you can visit us and just like that, you're right back to where you were? I was like, I don't know. I guess this is where I've always been meant to be. The people that I enjoy and I love are here, besides my wife, but and my children. You ever find that place in this world where you don't you could be doing nothing at all, just sitting on your porch with a glass of sweet tea, and nothing's happening anywhere, but that is exactly where you should be, and it's exactly what you should be doing. Just sipping on a nice cold glass of sweet tea, doing nothing. Then that's what it's like back home. We just sit there and do nothing. I mean, there could be 5 people, sitting out on the porch, or underneath a shady tree someplace, and not a damn person says a word. And it's just all right. But y'all, you would pause a lot and shudder. When should I remember? But I never judged you, Will. But do remember. Well, thank you, Rykart. Colorado has Juicy Jules. Good evening, Juicy Jules. That's where my sister lives. She lives near Denver. She's closer to Denver. She was in Greeley in Fort Collins, and then they moved up towards Denver. They bought a huge swath of land there. They don't farm or anything. They have they did auto repair there, and they built a secondary barn. But my sister works for the state, so she likes it there. Tea is my favorite drink in the world. There's nothing wrong with a good glass of tea. Bean and cornbread, baby, and sweet tea. That sounds good. I don't know. Cornbread. I was gonna make some cornbread. I just went and got some the other day. I don't grind my own cornbread though. Cornmeal. I went and bought cornmeal to make cornbread. I was gonna make muffins, but I never got around to it. I got busy. Can't remember what it was. If it was my son came home early, but I started getting everything out to make it. Diana Bowman, good evening. Welcome. Welcome, and I hope you had a wonderful week. Nice to see you again. You only use Jiffy or Christine's? Nothing wrong with Jiffy. Jiffy's cheap is heck. At least it is in my area, but it works. It works, and you can add to with Jiffy. I've done it. I've done this before. Take Jiffy, and if you're gonna make it, and not in a paper cup, in a tin, muffins, grease it, and then just take some cornbread, cornmeal, and just instead of flour, put it inside there, and then put your Jiffy mix inside there, so the outside of it has got that fresh cornbread, cornmeal on the outside of it. Oh, it's so good. I've done that. Derby State. Her never been out of 50 miles of the Derby. Never been. The Kentucky Derby. I used to go down to Mobile, Alabama, every summer with my friend when I was younger. Elementary, middle school, start of high school. We used to go every summer. We used to fly down to Mobile, Alabama, and then go from Mobile, Kentucky, and we go all over the South with his grandfather, because his grandfather had different factories and different vendors and stuff like that. He'd go visit. His grandfather was the co-founder of Rubbermaid. But he'd take us everywhere. Miriam, Yankee born, drink my tea straight. There you go. Welcome to the stream, Miriam. I'm glad you could be here with us. Louisville, Kentucky. Some of the best minor league baseball games I've ever seen are in the South. But I'm not saying that they're the best. I mean, I've seen some short season Texas League baseball games. In Dominican League, they used to play. I think that the Dominican League is gone, but they were Mississippi, Alabama, and Arkansas. But they were part of the Dominican League. That was some great baseball games as well. So, Will, have you watched any TV? No. Pivot Dot, I really cannot honestly tell you the last time I purposely turned on the television. I watch YouTube. Um, I have notebooks. I watch channels, um, especially subscribers. If you're a subscriber to my channel, and I go through once a month and I look at. I mean, I have 33,000 subscribers. If you have a YouTube channel and I find out that you have one, by going through and I click on the newest to the oldest and I go back and forth and I watch the content that my subscribers are making. And if I can catch you on a live, and if you're monetized and you've gotten to that point where you can get super chats, I'll send you money. And it blows people away. Like Michelle Creates, she's one of my newer subscribers. Not but she's got the ability to get super chats and stuff like that. But I stopped in on her live and she's like, "Why are you here? I've never had anybody with so many subscribers ever want to pay attention to what I'm doing." I'm like, "Sweetheart, you already subscribed to me. I'm appreciative of that." And I find what she's doing extraordinarily interesting. It's very calming. She does diamond painting. I guess you'd call it painting, but it's like diamond press. It's like this little thing, and then they press the different colors and stuff on to make an actual bigger picture. Diamond something. But it's really interesting. You're not missing much, Will. Only good TV shows is Family Feud. I watch Rykard. I watch Family Feud on YouTube. Um, Steve Harvey, but I just find Steve Harvey, interesting. He's had a very interesting life. Diamond painting. You can check out her channel. It's kind of hard to find because if I just tell you the channel's name is Michelle Creates, but this is something that I wish I could express to a lot of people who are interested in starting a YouTube channel. Do not put emojis before your name or after your name, because if you type in Michelle Creates, it's going to come up with a million different things and it's never going to find your channel right away because it's emoji. Michelle Creates emoji is how YouTube actually sees the name. It's impossible for it to actually be found unless you share the actual link to it. But you can type it in the box at the top here on YouTube. Michelle Creates, and I think it's got a crown and a crown before her name. You've seen Michelle Creates? Well, it's good. I'm binging Buffy and ER. Oh, Miriam, my daughter would be right there with you, but with Buffy the Vampire Slayer. I can't remember what the guy's name is that's in Buffy. He was in another series as well. Ooh, she likes him. I think she actually met him once because my daughter has her SAG card, Screen Actors Guild card. She was on the TV series Everything Sucks. That's on FXX. But she was in a TV series Everything Sucks. ER these days. It's been a long time since I've seen ER. Y'all going to die laughing, but I binge watched the original Wild Wild West. Wild Wild West, the original. We're drawing a blank on that. For some reason, the only thing that pops in my mind is Will Smith. I'm sure that's not the original. I love the old westerns though, like Gunsmoke, Wagon Train, Ponderosa. Bonanza. Bonanza comes to mind. That's a good one. Wild West is kind of a silly, but I love watching the villains and how insane the episodes are. Yeah, I like the old westerns. And if you really want to laugh, watch Blazing Saddles. I mean, that's a western, but it's also a comedy too. There's, that's a good comedy. Will Smith slaps everyone in Wild Wild West. Dun dun dun. Tippet I wanted to marry Robert Conrad when you were little. Robert Conrad, he's a good looking man. Good looking man back then in those. Denver Cool. It only got up, speaking of, for some reason, it reminds me of the temperature. Today it only got to 89 degrees here where I am. 89 and sunny. Who is it? Michael Landon. Back then, Michael Landon, Highway to Heaven, Little House on the Prairie. But Michael Landon in those older westerns. I mean, he was a good looking man too back then. I like movies. I just don't watch. I just don't watch television. I've never seen an entire television series of anything except for on the Food Network. I mean, I used to watch the Food Network a lot. Uh, Good Eats. Um, Anthony Bourdain. Used to watch a lot of Anthony Bourdain. Um, is it? I'm drawing a blank, and I can picture the box set. I have every one of them in the house. Cook's Magazine. I can't remember the name of the actual show, but I used to watch a lot of that. Honey butter with muffins, chili soup. Ooh, there you go. Blazing Saddles' most politically incorrect movie ever. Yes, it was. Food Network is fun to watch. The Halloween and Christmas competitions. I did until I canceled cable. Now I watch Create TV, PBS. Goldie, good old Goldie. Good evening and welcome. We don't have cable anymore. We got rid of cable and satellite a long time ago. That's probably about the last time I watched television. I mean, I could now. We have it, but we have streaming. We stream everything. Netflix, Hulu, ESPN, NFL Network, Major League Baseball. We can stream all those packages for cheaper than what our cable bill was. Not even half of what our cable bill was. And it's amazing. Plus, we get this excellent internet service on top of it all, where we're getting gigs worth of actual upload and download speed. And we never have, it may go up one or down one bar, but it's always consistently strong. You taking off, Miriam? Blue Firefly. Did I graduate from college? Yes, I did. I graduated from Washington State University. I did not graduate there in person. I finished up my last year of actual studies while I was still in the service. But after I got home from the service, my diploma was already here waiting for me. So there's that. Well, gotta go. Bye. Well, you have a great week ahead, Miriam. Thank you for joining us tonight. Stay safe out there. Love PBS. Landon was hot and he knew it too. Michael Landon was hot. Yeah. He was a good looking man. I don't think he was ever not good looking. I mean, he was a very attractive man and a hell of an actor. So that's one in a million, I guess what they would say in Hollywood. He could play leading man or backup, or he could be everything within a movie or a television series. Walton loved it. Um, Walton's Mountain. Well, I used to watch that when I was younger. Good night, Jim Bob. Good night, Sue Ellen. The Waltons. I used to come home from school when I was a little kid. I could have been, I think it was like first grade, something like that. And me and my mom would eat saltine crackers with butter on them, and we'd watch Perry Mason. And then she would turn on and no, it was Perry Mason, and then we would watch Dragnet or some other like cop show, and then after that she'd turn on her soaps, and then but before she turned the TV off, about an hour, maybe 2 hours before my dad got home, I used to watch Rampart and some other show. But then the TV went off and it never came back on because my dad wouldn't. He didn't like television. He loved to listen to music, and I got that from him. I have absolutely loved listening to music. I have an entire record collection here. Um, I've got probably about 200 LPs, and I don't know how many 45s I have or 12-inch singles. I lost track. I heard that even though Simon Cowell seems to be hard on people, that in true life he's actually a really nice, caring person, good to people. Hmm. Um, to tell you the truth, Pippadot, I've never actually really paid that close attention to. Um, I can't remember what show he's on. Is it American Idol or something like that, or Idol? Gordon Ramsay, even though he yells crazy in real life, he's a sweetheart. I used to watch some of the was it Hell's Kitchen? Yeah, because he had Kitchen Nightmares in Hell's Kitchen. That's the cooking, competition one. I watched, like, I think it was the first season that was on. I watched some of those, not a whole lot. America's Got Talent. Okay, so maybe that's what he's on. Yeah, these competition shows and reality TV, that stuff never really ever interested me. Even as a teenager, on not HBO, but on MTV, they used to have some of those reality shows. Yeah, I never liked them. I turned on MTV because I wanted music. I know that's odd as hell that you would turn on music television expecting and wanting to hear music. But they eventually realized that there was more money in reality TV than there was in playing music. Well, how real those shows? I hear a lot of them are fake, but I don't know. Master Chef and Hell's Kitchen. I don't think I've ever seen Master Chef. AGT, America's Got Talent. I think that's what it stands for, right? Right, Cart? AGT. Good night, John Boy. I used to know what a lot of those actors from the Waltons. I knew what they did after the show ended. I think he became a director. The guy who, I'm drawing a blank on his name, but he was John Boy on the Waltons. But I think he became a writer and a director after that show ended. Just like Ron Howard on the Andy Griffin show, little Andy Griffin. Look what Ron Howard has done. With the rest of his life since then. How much his life has been in the eye of the public. That's got to be hard. I don't know if I'd ever want to live through something like that, especially in your awkward teenage years. As Ron Howard, and his brother. I'm sure his brother. I don't know what his brother. I don't know if his brother's even alive, but I know his brother was in Porky's and some of the other, slapstick comedy shows, and movies, of the '80s. John Boy, guy, still acts pretty good. Was in The Americans. Carol O'Connor. Carol O'Connor was your all-time favorite. There's an insane new show called Intimate to Roommate. Talk about shady. Ron Howard has done a ton. So has his goofy cousin Clint Howard. I gotta look that up. Who played John Boy on the Waltons? Robert Reitman. Robert Reitman, actor. Oh. Richard. Okay, his real name is Richard Thomas. Richard Earl Thomas. Oh boy, he's got 5 things right now in post production. He's been active as an actor since 1958. His first major thing was at the age of 10. Damn. And you're right. He is still acting to this day. No, Will. To roommate. Wow. Inmate to roommate. Okay. So would it be like an after prison show? Which, by the way, in case you guys ever followed the After Prison show here on YouTube, Joe Guerrero, was the creator behind that content, has decided to kill it all off. I think he has a couple million subscribers left on that channel, and down about half of what it used to be. But he's decided to kill that channel off, and he is going to put all this effort towards Joe Does Stuff, his new channel. Inmate to roommate. Sounds like an interesting concept. If it's transitional housing, or something like that. The inmate to coming out and getting back into society. About people taking random people that have been incarcerated for a long time. I mean, it sounds like an interesting concept. Is it real? Or are they going to have to throw drama in there to keep people watching? I mean, not that there probably going to be enough drama the way it is. If you've been incarcerated for so long, it's hard for those people, those men and women who are coming out of the institution who've done any great length of time to be able to reassimilate back into society. If you took a dog and you put a dog in a cage, and that dog was in that cage for, just say, 10 years inside that cage, and then you decide one day to open the door to that cage, that dog is going to walk towards that door, and it's going to be very gingerly, expecting that there's a reason that, it's not real, that can't just walk out and do whatever they want. Just like an inmate, you incarcerate people for extended periods of time. It's hard for them to be able to make a go of it on the outside, because so much of their mind, their mentality, everything about them, their physicality, everything about them, they've been set in a certain time frame. Everything happens on this. Lights out are always at this time. You don't have freedom to just walk out or run down the street, or you just go sit on your porch with a glass of tea. You can't do that whenever you want. So it's hard for them. So it's a good premise. But it'd be interesting to see how, what they could do with it. So cheap, weird. Normal person could not live under their roof following their insane rules. You know, I'm sure that they're probably doing the best they can to vet the individuals they're letting out. I mean, I'm sure they're not letting out like a triple murderer and putting them in a house with two elderly individuals who can't defend themselves. But who knows? Sure that they're for TV they're probably dramatizing it, their actual record or how long they've been locked up, and that's what's wrong with so much television, though. And it's the reason why I don't watch it. I mean, you can't even tune on the news, turn on the news and get the complete story. The days of Edward R. Murrow, on television are gone. You know, you're never going to hear someone like Walter Cronkite, tell you, that's the news. You're never going to get that anymore. That every television is aimed towards what their advertisers and what their station director want you to know. You have to go back and forth between multiple channels to try to piece together the entire story, and a lot of that then flows over into YouTube, especially in the true crime community. You see a lot of people, and you can tell, just by watching, enough different channels on YouTube, especially in the true crime community, who's watching what channel, where they're getting their information from. You can tell after a while. This person is definitely watching NBC, or Google News feed. That's what they're watching, because they're over here on this side, and this creator is over here, and they're watching, and getting their news on crime from people, .com online. It's in the middle ground. It's neither right nor left. It's in the middle. And then you have the other ones that are over here who are watching the more speculative channels like the CNNs, or and they're getting their news that way. Very few are getting their crime news from the AP. Can't trust the news. Watch some Australian, Indian, Latin America, Middle East news to get a sense of what's really happening in the world. That's a good idea. It's a good idea. I mean, I try to balance it out. I'll write out like give you an example. So this is a script that I've been working on for the last week and a half. Okay, and this script, I write it out, and then I have the last page is just all my sources for the actual story itself. And I'll go in and I'll type into search engine, Google, or to Bing or whatever, depending on where I'm at, what computer. because inside the house I have a tablet in there that I use Bing on. I know there are some people who still use Bing. It's real. It's still around. But I'll search the story out and I'll find that two different affiliates of ABC News, one's reporting this and the other one's reporting this. One NBC station is reporting this, the other one's reporting this. If there's a discrepancy between how much actual information is in there. The national news is usually, right here, and the local news is down here, for what you're actually getting in coverage. So to balance it out, I might go to Al Jazeera, and search the story out on Al Jazeera, especially if it's a worldwide story, to see what Al Jazeera has in their system. You have to, check with multiple places to see what's going on. But that's a good idea, though, to, Sandy, to look at different sources, and different how everybody's reporting it. When it comes to like the Lori Vallow and Chad Daybell case, I've come to trust Nate Eaton, from East Idaho News. He does a pretty good, in East Idaho News, does a pretty good job of giving you the factual information. But at the same time, if you watch one of the other affiliate, stations out of like Boise, Idaho, or somewhere else in Idaho, or even Spokane, Washington, it would be the next largest market, television wise or news wise, and they may give you more facts, and they'll leave a lot of the details that Nate Eaton at East Idaho News, they don't have. It's like, oh, here's his reporting. Here's what you really need to know. Is what they've gone by. Good morning, Gone Girl, or good evening. Actually, good evening. Sorry, you're pretty much the same time zone. Good, but hello, Gone Girl. Hey, Will, hugs to you and the family. Oh, thank you. It's hard to know. I actually posed this question on YouTube. Which one would people rather hear? Would you rather get the factual information, the documented news, or would you rather hear a version of, a little bit of the facts and more of the speculation? And unfortunately, it's always, every time I've asked a question, some variation of that. A lot of people they say they want the facts on a case, but they want that drama, that speculation a little bit. Give me some of this, but give me some of this too. They don't just want the straight news. They don't want the straight facts. Yes, it can be boring. It doesn't make for great entertainment. Tell me, how did this person get punished? Have they been found guilty yet? Has their life become a complete train wreck by now? When will they be sentenced? That's what people really want to know. They did it. They've been punished, and this is what's happening to them. Yeah, that's hard to do, especially in a video that is only this long. You have to kind of cut some parts out in order to squeeze all that together. That's why I enjoy your channel. Factual, no BS. Well, thank you, Sandy. I appreciate it. Very lucky you guys enjoy. You can't handle the truth. A few good men. A few good men. Excellent movie, you're right, Cart. Excellent movie. Robin Johnson. Welcome, Robin. So, what's up this weekend, Pippadot? Well, it asks, what's up this weekend? Let's see. Well, tomorrow, got the Saturday morning live stream. And then later on Saturday, got my family's coming over for breakfast. So probably while I'm actually doing the live stream, they'll be arriving here. But they're coming over for breakfast. In the afternoon, I'm hoping to be able to get away for a round of golf. And I'm not sure if that's going to happen or not because I got a lot of things, on my honey to-do list that I need to get done before Monday. But if I don't get out to shoot a round of golf, and then I have to pressure wash my driveway because I was working on my truck and I spilled oil and gear oil, motor oil, and gear oil on the driveway. And we have an HOA. If I don't clean up that spill in the driveway, they'll drive around, they'll see it, and if they do, I'll get a nasty letter in the mail, and then if I don't clean it up, within so many days of getting the letter, then I'm going to get fined another $25. It's not that much, but still, you have to do it. So I got to get that done. It's better to be proactive before they come and take photographs of it. Don't ever buy a home in an HOA, and if you have to actually buy a home in an HOA, I highly suggest you go through the HOA rules before buying the house. That's all I can say about that. It's getting Nona. Have you been doing well? I hope so. Tomorrow cement. Hope to be. But then Sunday, I have I got a couple of videos that are in the editing, different variations of editing. I got to work on, and then the weekend next week starts. Do you have plans for this weekend, Pip, at that? And everybody else, cement shoes, ride car, anybody got exciting plans for this weekend? No plans, Will, but big plans next weekend. Next weekend is 17th, right? Zero plans for cement shoes. Gotta work tomorrow. Relax after. Ride cart, just work. I hear you. I've been there. Well, I hope everybody gets a chance to relax, though. I have to wake up early tomorrow. Got to keep on trucking. Keep on trucking. Eastbound bound. Oh, hey. I don't know why, but I you know me. Song pops into my head. Loading up and trucking. And now I can't get the song out of my head. Hello, me again. Hello, Amelia. Good evening and welcome. Welcome. Robin Johnson. Hey, Will and chat. Good evening again, Robin. Well, have you been doing much golfing since your knee surgery? Pipodot. I have played maybe a 12, 12 full rounds since then, since Thanksgiving. And I played in one golf tournament, but on top of it, so maybe about 13, maybe 14 rounds of golf since Thanksgiving of last year. So we're almost on a year. It's a lot less than I used to, a lot less. I mean, but strength wise, with the knee, I mean, I don't have a lot. I don't have any pain anymore. Um, shifting my weight from leg to leg, or rotating the leg. I mean, I have obviously I have arthritis in my knee and my ankles. So I mean that's not going to go away. But part of getting old, you know. But I have some uncomfort, just doing day to day things too, let alone golfing. So it's not really my point is it's not really the reason why I haven't golfed. It's just I am extraordinarily busy. So I want to golf more. Yeah, yeah, you did. That's good, Mary. I appreciate it. Mary called me just as I was about to start golfing, and I talked to her while I did the entire round of golf. Oh, this? No, no. I lost all the nerves in it years and years ago. Um, so you can't see it, but trust me, there's a huge chunk of my arm right here that's missing, where the nerves go. If I hold my hand up here, well, behind it, you can kind of see right here, right here where my finger is. There's a chunk of my arm, yeah, right there, that is actually missing. That's not me rolling over like the knuckle. That's just there's nothing there. But then I had surgery to restore the nerves in my hand and other arm as well. But I have feeling now in my thumb, index finger. I can flip people off, but I still have only about 25% feeling in the ring finger, and I have all right. So it's kind of like like when your foot falls asleep, you have that tingling sensation in your foot. Not when it gets really painful, but when it just starts to fall asleep, or you're starting to get feeling back. I have that in all of this. The lower part of my hand, the entire pinky finger, all of this part of the arm. Just doing this by running my hand over it, it's kind of a tingling sensation like your foot's asleep, and that's the best they're ever going to get. And I can't straighten my finger; it's criminally curved because I've lost so much of the muscle. But I do the best I can with it. Bionic will, yeah. And my wife calls me the $3 million man. I've definitely I've bought my well, I bought my orthopedic surgeon probably at least a couple Porsches, if not a house. But he is actually retiring. I just got a letter in the mail. Um, I was one of his last surgeries last year. He's been kind of like just going through the process of moving patients from him to another orthopedist within his practice. So he's getting ready to retire. So I'm going to have to get another orthopedist, either one in his office or another sports medicine, because the ligament replacement that I had done just before, at Thanksgiving last year, excuse me, is all we're trying to do there with replacing the ligaments and cleaning out the knee and the tendons and everything else is trying to buy me 10 years. That was our goal. Just get 10 years before I have to have, a complete knee replacement. But I've already had, I have a 3/4 replacement of my left knee. This my right knee is that I had surgery on last year. We're trying. Good evening, Interpeas. I hope you've been doing well. All right, so now the gang's all here, ladies and gentlemen. We're all here. And add on a missing milk carton for you, old school style. I don't know if anybody remembers that from the 80s with the PMRC, the Parents Music Resource Center, Tipper Gore, when they were looking into the band. The name of the band was the Butthole Surfers, and he had collected a lot of the pictures of missing children from milk cartons. And when they came in and with a search warrant to search his premises for material harmful to minors, they found all those pictures that he had pinned to all over in his apartment or studio or whatever, recording studio, of all these missing children from milk cartons. They asked him, and they really did consider that he may know where all these missing children were. I always remember that. Missed y'all. Incognito Interpeas flying under the radar. It's creepy. No, he was going to be using them to put together a collage for a an album insert like poster. That's why he had them, but it was completely innocent. But the way that the PMRC went after different musical artists in the '80s, it was insane. They went after Jello Biafra, the lead singer, and tried to put him in jail for material harmful to minors. But from all of that is where we got the rating system that you now see, the parental warning label that's on music. But then again, at the same time, people were convinced if you played Judas Priest records backwards, it said, go kill your family, go kill your family. So that was the 80s for you. Tipper Gore, good old Al Gore's wife. You going to bed, right, Cart? Gang? Well, good night. You stay safe out there on the roads of America, right, Cart? Have you ever covered the Skylar Linville story? Amelia, no, it does not strike a memory for me. I'll write it down though. Got to save that post-it now. You got to remember the text, Stacy. Skylar Linville. I will look into it, Amelia. Best I can promise you right now. never knew that the label came from or started. Yeah, that's where it all started. Was the PMRC. They wanted to make sure that rock and roll didn't rot the brains of the adolescents of America. Rap music was the devil's tool, as was heavy metal and punk. It was the devil's music. It was started by a group of women, mothers from the Midwest of America that were evangelical Christians who decided that something needed to be done on the governmental basis. The government needed to act, and they in Stowe came to, and they got Tipper Gore to back them, to give them legitimacy. And well, Tipper had all kinds of connections with her husband, politics and everything else. So it gave them actual credibility, and they just went on a giant witch hunt through every type of music. But they left country music widely alone. They left rhythm and blues, and they left gospel music alone because they never wanted to go up against the heads of Motown or anything like that. That could have squashed them into an oblivion. They started off with independent artists, and then after they got some success there, and they got them to change and edit their own, content, they started ramping it up a little bit more until they got up into, the major record labels like Sony, RCA, BMG. Once they got into they used that legitimacy, the political backing, then the success that showed that they actually, were able to get people to change their music or their album covers. Then they start going after the bigger artists, and nobody at that time, I think it was between in 1984 and 1989, that 5 year period, nobody was safe. And it doesn't matter what type of music you were making. They went after everything. They went after MTV. They went after everyone. No one was safe. But at the same time, if you look at what all the other people around them, these evangelical, Christians and and the ladies themselves, I mean, they were supporting some of the biggest abusers of women and children out there who were doing it in the name of God. They thought that Jerry Falwell, and Tammy Faye Baker and Jim Baker, they thought they couldn't do any wrong, that they were, the word of God in their eyes, and they couldn't do anything wrong. Oh, heavens no, could they do anything wrong? It was the rock and roll that was poisoning them. And I remember my uncle telling me, kind of stories like that his parents used to say about when rock and roll first came out, and he was a kid of the 50s and 60s. They were like, oh, that rock and roll music is music of the devil. But I mean, he didn't turn out that bad. At least that uncle didn't. The other one, it kind of did. But Skylar is missing. The story is current. It's a very scary and angry, introducing story. Amelia, for some reason, the name sounds familiar. I'm just not sure if I'm connecting it with the. Is that the one that Lamont covered? Wow. I might be connecting two different stories of two different missing little girls. Got his come up in with his son after what he did to the Bakers. Yeah. Well, I mean, but that was just the times. I mean, I remember helping someone move, and they offered me and my friend cocaine for helping them move. It was the 80s. They didn't give a crap that we were 13 years old, or wherever old we were at the time. We were somewhere in there. We were young. Be right back. Dang it, I'm late. Well, Tina, I'm glad you're here. Better late than never. All I mainly keep hearing is the story. Rodney case, Kylie Rodney. Oh, trust me on that one. Pippadot, the Kylie Rodney story has been drowning out my news feed in all the channels that I subscribe, true crime channels that I subscribe to. It has been about 90% of the content that has been actually it started before Adventures with Purpose got involved and would eventually find her. And then Lamont started blowing up, and he's kind of feeding on, that entire thing too. But yeah, it's crazy. There's so much foul play here. Will, I don't have anything against any. People want to cover, a case. So be it. Go ahead and do it. But some of these channels out there have gone absolutely off the damn rails. Some of them, I wonder if they're ever on the rails. Um, Talking about that Kylie Rodney was never a real individual. That the whole story is a conspiracy. I'm not kidding. It's out there on YouTube. I've seen them. I've come across them. And never know. I mean, it's just like every high profile case out there. People are making a mountain out of a molehill. I mean, it's a tragic story, that someone so young, and has tragically lost her life. But does the story have to carry on from there? Does it have to be 24-hour, speculation, and trying to figure out, the smallest minute detail? Are there 30 friends who were at that party that are all responsible for allowing her to drive home? To some extent, yes. But at the end of it all, Kylie Rodney made the mistake herself, and decided to get behind the wheel of a car. Lamont is just not qualified to tell these stories. Oh, well, it all depends, Pippadot. It all depends on which one of Lamont's channels you're actually watching. I do believe Lamont has 4 active channels, and Black Bigelow, or his other one of his first channel, he hasn't posted on it in a while. But Lamont at large, Lamont on the run, Fascinating Graveyards. Well, I'm missing one there. At large, on the run, Fascinating Graveyard. I'm missing one, but then the 5th one's Black Bigelow. But he hasn't posted to that one in a while. Do I think that he's qualified? Does he have 6 channels? Not all active. Yeah, I know he doesn't. He hasn't posted the Black Bigelow in a while, but I don't know. Okay, I hate to go down that, but I'm going to do it anyways. Pippadot, is he qualified? I don't know. Look at all the YouTubers who are out there that are talking about true crime. Take the largest channels and work your way down to the channel that only has one subscriber. How many of them have a degree, or any kind of educational background in journalism? All right. If we set the journalism or education aside, how many of them have life experiences where they can add insight into a true crime case, and be able to express in a way how these actions, this tragedy happened, or give insight that way. We set the education and life experiences aside. All right, now we have this area here. What are we filling this area in between the education and life experiences with? We have a chunk in the middle that is just doing cosmetics and actually talking about true crime. It's about a 25% of that total part here that's left. 25% of it is filled with makeup, and just reading off what comes across on the Google, search engine. I'm not joking at all. It's almost 100% that. Watching someone put on their makeup or take their makeup off and talk, and read to you through a teleprompter, word for word, what somebody else wrote on Google. So that's 25%. Now we have 75% of this chunk in between. Education's over here, life experiences here. We have this 75%. How many of them, how much percentage of that 75% is filled with people like armchair detective? The people who will make up anything they want to fill time, to make you, convince you that they know something that they have absolutely no knowledge of, have never spent a moment, researching. They haven't even opened up a second window and typed the name in to try to see what comes up on Google. Of that 75%, I'd be willing to bet that at least another 25% of that area between education and life experience, that 75%. So we're 50% of that 75% full. The other remaining 25% remains, and consists of channels like mine, trying to fight it out for tiny little scraps, when these people over here and these people over here, those people who are lazy, will steal from everybody else in that group, even those that are lying about it. They'll steal their content, because you know what? If you're over here and you have the life experience, you can talk about this guy who is making shit up. That's a whole entire business, avenue. And if you've got the education, you can talk about how every one of these people can't write a complete sentence, and how you should never trust these people because, well, they don't have the education, because you're better because you have a piece of paper. That, in a nutshell, is true crime. Does it mean that Lamont doesn't have a spot in that area, that 75%? No. Doesn't mean that I don't have a spot either. Doesn't mean that he's wrong, that he's right. And I'm not mad. If I get expressive and if my volume of my voice change there, I'm just trying to express myself. I'm not mad at the question, Pippa. I'm just trying to explain how, the entire thing breaks down. And this is what you got. We only have this because what people are interested in actually clicking on and watching and supporting. We could have a much wider variety of true crime here on YouTube and all over the internet if people would actually back what they actually enjoy and what they want to support. Maybe it's not financially support, but watch the content, click on it, give it a thumbs up if you like the actual content. Even if it's just people that are like Armchair and Bam Bam and all the other channels, the Miss Mollies of the world. If that's what you want to support, like it, support it, tell them that they're doing a good job, leave them a comment. saying, hey, I support your content. Thank you. I wouldn't do it. But I'm going to leave my views about all that group alone. But we could have a much larger, variety. But people don't want to watch anything more than this. We want to know that the person, what they did, how they were punished, and how their life was destroyed. In particularly that order, or maybe how they destroyed their lives and everyone else's life, and then how they're punished. So, which one? And I'm not telling anybody to hate on any one of those of that group. The people in different niches within the entire community. It's not about that. And infighting from one channel to another for the sake of drama to bring in views, it will work in the short term, but in long term, it doesn't do anybody any good. Doesn't do you, the viewer, any good. It doesn't do the channel any good. It's just short term only. I like True Crime Recap. I like that channel. I watch True Crime Recap. But when it comes down to it, what I really want back is I want Jim Can't Swim. I want that channel back. Victoria Evans has a 2-hour Israel Keys documentary. I'm going to have to check that out, Cement Shoes. I'm always up for some more information, a good documentary on on Israel Keys, because he was right here in Washington State. Victoria Evans. Thank you for letting us know about that, Cement Shoes. A 2-hour documentary on it. That's cool. Grizzly True Crime. I haven't seen a lot of the content on Grizzly. I think I watched one on Grizzly. You taking off, Sandy? Thank you, Sandy, for being here tonight. You have a great weekend and week ahead. Thank you again. True crime recaps are great. I like the channel. Very well done. Yeah, I have a lot of people who watch my channel, my content. I'll tell you exactly which channels my subscribers. This is just my subscribers. What channels they watch the most, and what they actually subscribe to. It's in my analytics. Every single day, I get a new update report on how many videos, how many likes my subscribers are giving to these other channels that they're watching. All right, so I gotta go to analytics, and then I go to research. Audience. All right. So number one channel that a lot of my subscribers are watching is Without a Crystal Ball. 49% of my subscribers are watching Without a Crystal Ball. 49%. Next channel they're watching the most of is Tough Topic. Tough Topic. 40% of them are watching Tough Topic. Then Christina Randall at 39.5, just under 40%. I'm not going to read the percentages for all these. And then Crime Talk with Scott Reich. And next is Plunder. True Crime Rocket Science. Ellie B. Duty Ron. Only about 30% are watching Duty Ron. That many watch without a crystal ball? Yep. Yeah. Oh, but only 30% are watching Duty Ron. That's of my actual subscribers. I can't tell you how much. At the same time, though, I should probably preface it that with the actual numbers. Okay. Of all the people who watch my content, only 71.7%. 71.7% of all the people who watch my content are not subscribers. 71% of all the views that I get in a monthly basis are from non-subscribers. Only 28.3% of all of my subscribers, are the, so that of that 28%, 30% are watching Duty Ron of that 28%. And I'd like to thank the 6 people who have unsubscribed to my channel since I went live tonight. I'm truly sorry that each and every one of you have chosen the reason of me making this live stream. Maybe you thought that I didn't have any content, that it wasn't going to be the type of content you want to watch, but I hope that you find another channel out there that you enjoy the content more of. Thank you for being here. Tina's still here. Mr. Balin, yeah, fellow Marine. No, Navy SEAL. Mr. Balin is a Navy SEAL. Ex-Navy SEAL. You're absolutely right, Peppa Dot. Kind of an inside joke in so many ways. There's a large conspiracy out there that Mr. Balin is stolen valor, that he was never in the service, and that he is pretending to be a former Navy SEAL. I'm not kidding. That there is a large conspiracy out there, and if you actually search that out, you can find the actual videos on it. But you can go to Bud's. Was it Bud's 34 or 41 or whatever? But all he does is work on exposing those of stolen valor. And he's answered this question so many times about Mr. Balin. Is he stolen valor? And he's confirmed multiple times to so many people who've contacted him over the years that Mr. Balin was a Navy SEAL. He graduated. He knows his Bud class. He has the photographs of it. He knows that he's not stealing valor. Over and over again, the question keeps on coming up, but people keep on making content about it because they see somebody else talk about it, so they figure out that person wouldn't lie, right? So they make content about it too. Especially a lot of channels they're starting off, they'll use it as something to build an audience around. What the heck did Will do while I was away? People unsubbing? Yeah, I'm not worried about it, Amelia. There's six people did. But that's all right. Didn't realize your lives. Harlan, hey, long time no see, sir. How are you doing? Live was tonight. Well, I would have made it a point to hop in a bit sooner. I turned in from start. Hope I ain't missing too much. Harlan, you, I like that. I did some updates on different crime cases. Um, anyway, but the rest of it was kind of like shooting the shit. Harlan, I'm going to go live here for just a little bit longer, and then I'm going to wrap it up. But I will be back tomorrow, Harlan, um, 8 a.m. Pacific Standard Time. So you can figure that out to where you are, your time zone. Was Will pissing people off again? I guess so, Amelia. I don't know. Sometimes just a mere presence of my lovely face on the internet tends to have that reaction with some people. And like a very wise man pointed out earlier, you can't handle the truth. That's not. I'll definitely never be a yes man. Might be bots, cement shoes. Yeah. Most of the bots that that's described, they're there for like a minute. I'll see fluctuations up and down, but when I consistently, and this is the absolute truth, cement shoes, just about every live stream I do, I get one, two, sometimes seven, sometimes eight people who will unsubscribe. They want that an action filled live stream. They don't like people like me who want to get to know their audience and appreciate the individuals who are there to support them through their views or whatever it may be. They don't like that. I guess in their eyes it's wrong to be different. I'm not going to change who I am. I'm going to be me. I like who I am. Similar things from many others, not just Will, because I like the plaid shirts. My wife makes fun of them. She says I dress like her dad. She says she says to me all the time in the morning, "You're rocking the old man vibe again." And I'm like, because I am an old man. You can't please everyone. You're absolutely right, Pippadot. If you spend your life trying to please everyone, you're never going to be happy. I do the best I can, and you just kind of have to let it go. I say that, but sometimes it gets to me. Sometimes most of the time it doesn't. That's just a world, the internet out there. I'm an analog man living in a digital world, and I guess maybe I've never found a way to completely put it the entire puzzle together. I may never find a way to put the complete puzzle together, but I enjoy what I do. Now I've got that song, like, you can't always get what you want, stuck in your head. Plaid is back. Yeah, it's fall. Soon enough, I'll have to start wearing, a whole other series of shirts. But I like these. They're Wrangler shirts. I like them. They're comfortable. They breathe easy. Plaids is a fashion statement in New Zealand. My wife wants to move to New Zealand. I'm not joking. She does. I'm like, I don't want to move anywhere where half the animals want to kill me. That's a joke. It's a joke. It's an American joke, especially a joke within our circle. So we're all living in a material world, and Will is not a material girl. That's true. That is true. I am definitely not a material girl. Viva La Dirt League. I think they're from Australia or New Zealand. I can never keep it straight which one they're from. Their YouTube channel, Viva La Dirt League. Oh well. Well, ladies and gentlemen, I'm going to wrap it up there for tonight. I hope to see everyone tomorrow morning. If I don't, if you can't make it, I hope and I wish you all a happy week ahead. I hope that everything works out for everyone. And again, thank you again for telling me about the Skylar Linville. I will definitely look into that case, and I will check out Victoria Evans' YouTube channel. I will definitely look into both of those later tonight because I've had 3 of these Red Bulls. I ain't going to sleep anytime soon. I gotta get here in time to say goodnight. Well, good night, Tina. Sick, Amelia, Pippadot, Cement Shoes, Inner Peas. If you're still out there hiding and lurking around, I wish you all, and everyone, Harlan, I hope you have a great week ahead, Harlan. But again, I will be live tomorrow morning, and I hope everyone has a pleasant evening and a terrific week ahead. Bye now from me. Lurking. Miss you, Inner Peas. We all did. I hope you've been doing well. Take care of yourself.